CBS 58 News presents Eye to Eye, your inside look at the newsmakers and issues facing Wisconsin.
In 3 weeks, voters in Milwaukee County will narrow the field of candidates in the county executive's race from 5 to 2. Among those vying to fill the seat vacated by newly elected Governor Scott Walker is acting county executive Lee Holloway. Mr. Holloway, thanks for joining us on Eye to Eye.
Thank you.
You have until the end of the business day on Wednesday to nominate an interim county executive, someone who will fill that position until the special election in April. Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not made a decision yet whether I will nominate myself or nominate an individual. I am interviewing. I'm down to 2 individuals that I'm interviewing, and I'll be making up my decision in reference to their interview, plus looking at myself as well.
So 2 people are 2 people who are in government currently, or in the private sector right now?
Well, they're in the private sector.
In the private sector. But you are considering yourself. Now, if you nominate yourself, the county board, no matter who you nominate, yourself or someone else, would have to confirm that. In addition, if you nominate yourself, you would have to then step down from your county board position, correct?
Yeah, you know, the thing about it is that I got all my retirement benefits is complete. I've been on the county board for 18 years. I could retire today and everything would be the same. So it really is not a decision in reference to what reason I would step down or what reason I would go forward. I mean, I don't have anything to lose from that perspective.
Now, Wednesday the 26th is also the day that you are set to deliver your State of the County address.
That's true.
What is going to be the theme of this speech?
Well, I think it's going to primarily focus on jobs and mental health, and also trying to create a different relationship with the municipalities and how we share and work together, and become more of a one unit versus several different units, but one unit when it comes to providing services and cutting costs for the taxpayers.
Let's start with mental health. The speech will be delivered at the Mental Health Complex.
Right.
You are pitching a decentralized form of mental health system here in Milwaukee County. Perhaps you can expound on why you feel this would work better than the current system.
Well, what we have now is a system that has somewhat in the area about $200 million budget, and about $57 million is direct tax dollars. The concept that I have would remove the number of people from 1 bed to 16 units. 16 units would then allow us to be able to bill the federal government our costs between 60 to 80%. Also, the staffing will be the bill for the staffing and what have you. There's also other federal formularies that we can utilize to offset our costs. By breaking it down from 200 people to 16 units, we can do that.
So these units, these facilities would be spread throughout the county. You wouldn't just have one complex currently, which is the current setup at the county grounds, but you would have facilities spread throughout different communities.
Throughout the county. When I visit Pennsylvania, I was had opportunity to see that they were spread in different areas, similar to Ozaukee County, River Hills, Sherman Park areas. They were all over the area where it was more safe for the mental health to be, and that's how I plan on implementing it.
Would you include more private sector involvement here, retaining county workers, but perhaps being managed by some private management?
That's part of the model. It's not the entire model. We will have a mixed model. We'll see who provides the best services, but what we will do is make sure that our ITT will be the main entity that takes and do all the billing for all of the people who contract with us. The private sector as well as the public sector, we will do the billing. We will make sure that the billing is being done appropriately. We will also make sure that we monitor. We will develop an interdisciplinary group that will go through all of the different contractors and make sure that we're providing the same level of quality service among all of the groups, private sector or nonprofit.
Maintaining that high level of service.
Right.
But obviously, costs are important. We've seen that with the current model. Would this system allow for more federally funded Medicaid
all of
dollars
those models
for
will
Milwaukee
be
County?
funded by the federal model. It is a very interesting concept because it will lower the taxpayer dollars input. At the same time, it will upgrade the quality of care to the mentally ill or the mentally challenged people. That's very important that we take and provide a quality mental health program for people who have mental challenges.
You've taken quite an interest in this, and you certainly have some extensive background in mental
I have
health.
a master's degree from Dr. Trotter program in development disability from UWM. And one of the first times I've had an opportunity to utilize it to a certain degree. The program also have HMO concepts. It has where everybody will be capitated so that it will be no fee for service. Everybody will be capitated, so it will allow us to be able to keep control over the budget. And everybody will have protocols based on the kind of services that they're providing. So that we can keep a level of service so we'll be able to monitor the service. The county will, in essence, what I want to do is put the county out of business for directly providing services. It'll be more or less in a monitoring advocacy approach.
Very good. We have got our eye on the Milwaukee County Executive's race, and when we continue, we will continue our conversation with Acting County Executive Lee Holloway. Stay with us here on Eye to Eye.
You're watching Eye to Eye, presented by CBS 58 News.
Lee Holloway, the Acting County Executive for Milwaukee County, is our guest on Eye to Eye. The first 9 words on your campaign website read, "Milwaukee is in a moment of strife and turmoil." What are you saying there?
Well, basically, those are emotional words, but it basically means Milwaukee County is going through a transitional stage. Everything that once was will be different. For example, I asked the engineer, I asked him how many engineers did he have in his department. He said he had 3 counting himself and 2 interns. And I asked him, what budget amount do you take and provide service to? What amount? He said, about $6 to $7 million. And I said, well, are you able to provide that service with yourself and the 2 other engineers? He said, no. I asked him, well, what amount of staff people would you need to be able to provide that service? He said he would need 2 others, and he would be able to provide that service. He also will be able to provide that service with cost effectiveness, meaning that we'll be able to pay for itself plus earn $300,000 to $400,000. So why didn't you do that? He said, well, because I was budgeted to come in with a certain amount of budget, and there was no wiggle room. So if you come in with a certain amount of budget, that's it. So I said, well, I'm freeing you up from that. If you stay within the budget and you know how to get around it and produce more revenue and do a better job and give back to taxpayers $300,000 or $400,000, I'm with you.
So you're taking a look at county government from the top down, looking at efficiencies, inefficiencies. Some of the critics would argue that you're making your aggressive agenda is not the approach should be taken. You're shaking things up a little too much. You've fired a number of Walker appointees, made some bold policy statements that this is a time of transition, yet before the vote, all of these changes should not be made.
Okay. I assume that these are people who have never been in the situation that I'm in. I assume that there are people who don't have 18 years of experience. I assume that those people have not been in a crisis situation of 8 years as a chairman of the board. I assume all this. So based on a person having that kind of experience, would you want a valuable person that had 18 years of experience, 8 years as chairman of the board, to be sitting on his duster for 30 days? That's not Lee Holloway. I come from a blue-collar family. My daddy worked at Lattice Company for 35 years. My mother worked at Inland Steel for 30 years. They're workers. They would not be proud of me just sitting on my duster. They would say, Lee, get up and work. And that's what I'm doing. I'm getting up and working, using my skills and my ability to get the job done. And whoever will be the county executive, they will have a great start because County Executive Lee Holloway would put them on the right path.
You mentioned 8 years in a crisis situation. You're talking 8 years of serving as county board chairman under County Executive Scott Walker, who is now the state's governor. I saw the day that Mr. Walker and you are sitting together, and you acknowledging, we've had our differences, and yet there's been a mutual respect. I guess your parting thoughts as he begins a new era, and perhaps
I'm
you
not
as well.
saying a crisis situation with Scott Walker. During the time I was the chairman of the board, there were a number of people being recalled. I had been recalled twice myself. There was a lot of people who were scared of their jobs and were not able to make good decisions and what have you. That's what I'm talking about. And we had a new guy in who was Scott Walker, who was not sensitized to the people who worked there. After all, he didn't know any of the people. He didn't have any feelings about the people. He was coming in with a progressive agenda. And then what happened is the county board were in the opposite direction. They were concerned about the people, concerned about the jobs and whatever, and it was very difficult for us to get together and see the things the same way. However, me and Scott worked very good together on big issues. We went to New York, California, dealing with the Mercer trial. We brought $45 million in, the highest ever given to a trial like that. We worked to save Midwest Airline. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. We gave them bargaining abilities to save them for a while. I also was one of the first people who opened my doors for Midwest Airline. I got a lot of criticism for that. But I knew, even though I had tried to help Midwest Airline, that AirTrain was potentially a group of individuals might come in and might be able to help us. I'm pretty much from a business perspective. I have sensitivity for Midwest Airline, but from a business perspective, I was looking at AirTrain. I look at the model of mental health from a business perspective. I look at dealing with the municipalities from a business perspective. I have a lot of business perspective, but yet I'm humanistically oriented. I have a real concern for people.
All right. Well, we want to get your take on sales taxes and furloughs as well, if you are elected county executive. So we will continue our conversation with acting county executive Lee Holloway in just a moment here on Eye to Eye. Stay with us.